Hey, it's Ryan, one of the elite coaches over here at Training Bible. Let's cover how and why to use a power meter and why you need to get one. Alright, so what is a power meter? It's a device that you put on your bike that measures the amount of power in watts that you are producing while you are turning the pedals. Very simple. Power Tap, outstanding brand. See the picture of the wheels down there and the hub to the right. The hub is the power meter. You got the wheels built into that guy. That's the mid-range carbon racing and training wheels. Outstanding product. So what is power? Power is measured in watts. Watts are the most accurate way to measure the current level of effort that is being put forth by the athlete. It is an instantaneous reading of the force being applied to the pedals while the athlete is working or riding. So every time you turn a pedal, you push down on it, you're applying a force. We're measuring that, and we're measuring it in watts. A watt is a watt, regardless of the terrain, weather, nutrition, or hydration. It is a measure of the absolute amount of work power that you are transferring to the pedals. It doesn't matter uphill, downhill, with, against the wind, side wind, hydrated, dehydrated, does not matter. It is an absolute measure of the work you are doing. It is better than heart rate, better than cadence, better than RPE, speed, anything else. All that other stuff is dependent upon terrain, nutrition, and hydration. Alright, so why do you care? You care because following different things we get from a power meter. Functional threshold power. It's your power output at lactate threshold. It's going to let us divvy up some training zones, get you dialed in exactly where you need to be. Normalized power. It's the closest measure of how hard the ride actually was. It removes the highs and the lows. Basically, it's even pedaling. Variability index. Measure the pacing. Comparing normalized power versus the actual average power, mathematically speaking. Tells us how you pace the ride. Intensity factor is a measure of how hard the ride was overall, compares to normalized power. Remember, that's how hard the ride was physiologically, or how hard your body felt compared to your FTP. It's better than looking at just an average power. Training stress score, this is your gold pot right here. Represents the actual training load of each workout by looking at the duration and intensity and by taking all of the above information into account. FTP, normalized power, variability index, intensity factor, all of that training stress. We can quantify the load that we're putting on you every time you get on the bike. That's cool. Why is it useful to me? We got two reasons. Reason one, we can use it to help with pacing during a race and training. It's going to make sure that you go as hard as you can in a race while still being able to run as fast as you can. It's pretty much legalized cheating in Ironman. We lock you in. We want you to ride at a given percentage. We'll test it. We'll guarantee you're going to ride as fast as you can and run as well as you can. There's no more guessing. Reason two, using TSS, we can determine the following about you: how fatigued you are, what your level of fitness is, and how race ready you are. This is instantaneous. This isn't guessing. This isn't an estimate. This is real life, real science numbers right here. Best part, we can use that to determine where you're at right now, how hard the training yesterday, today was, and where we need to go tomorrow to make sure we get the most out of your time. How do we do all this? Acute training load. It's used to determine the fatigue that you are feeling from each workout, using the training stress score. We got the chronic training load, a little bit longer, maybe over a 6-week period or so, used to determine your fitness, again, from the training stress score. Remember, fitness in terms of athletic performance, it's the readiness to race at a high level of performance for a specific distance and type of race. Alright, so Ironman versus a sprint distance draft legal event, two very different levels of fitness or types of fitness. So all this, the acute training load, chronic training load, we take that, we do a little bit of math, we got form or race readiness. How fresh are you going to be? It's going to be used to determine that. Here's the big money maker right here, performance management chart. Alright, so what we got, red line coming in, that's your acute training load, that's fatigue. The higher numbers you see, that's generated from a harder training day. Very simple, right? That's over about a 4.5 month period. Coming in here, the blue line, that's chronic training load, that's your fitness. You see that's following right along with the fatigue, right? So we can monitor this. We got real numbers. This isn't an estimate anymore. This is not an educated guess. This is dialed in. Here, our yellow line popping in, that's form or race readiness. What you can see over here on the right side of the graph, this is where that athlete's big A race was. Huge drop in fatigue. Fitness, we are going to lose a little bit if we drop fatigue. There's no way around that. But if you check out this race readiness right here, this person is very, very fresh. They ended up having an outstanding race. So that's great for cycling, but yeah, I got to swim and I got to run also. That's cool. We know how to account for that, and this is how. Swimming TSS and running TSS. You get a Garmin 910. Gives us the exact same information based off a little bit different science, but we get the swimming TSS and the running TSS. All three of these pieces of information, we know exactly how tired you are, how fit you are, and how race ready you are. We can dial that in. Alright, so good news and bad news with it. Good news, TSS is the cutting edge of science when it comes to quantifying training load. There is not a heck of a lot of guessing, if any at all. You get into training loads when you're using heart rate, RPE. There's variability. You got to have a coach that knows what the heck they're doing, and they got to be really good at it. Bad news: all TSS is not created equal. An hour all-out swim versus a 1 hour all-out ride versus a 1 hour all-out run. They each have a different TSS. It's not 1 equals 1 equals 1. You can swim 2 separate 1 hour sessions all out in one day, and you can do that multiple days of a week. Check out most of the swimming programs. That's what it is. An hour all out ride, check out the Tour. They do it for 21 days, and their TSS is a lot higher than what we're going to be seeing here with the training program for triathlon, unless you're really doing this for a living and getting after it. 1 hour all out run, you got maybe 2 or 3 days of that before you start breaking down. It's a lot of info. Why do you care? Because if you have a coach who understands the science behind training, they understand the exercise physiology, they can use this info to manage your training day to day, week to week, training block to training block, phase to phase, making sure that your workouts are hitting you as hard as they need to, making sure that you're recovering, making sure that you're prepared. They dial in the taper. It removes all of the guessing. There are no more educated guesses. There's no more art with this. It's pure science. It's understanding how to do it. You add in a little bit of art and you got a dynamite plan. Sounds great, right? But you're not maybe ready to drop $1,000 on that thing? Don't worry about it, because you know what? Over here, Breakthrough Multisport, we believe in training and racing with power so strongly, we're going to put our money where our mouth is. You sign up for 12 months of coaching, we're going to give you a free PowerTap power meter. If you're ready to get rolling with this or you got more questions, give me a call, 888-963-9530. Fill out the web form below. We'll get in touch with you shortly. We'll get ready to roll.